Cult of the Lamb is a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Like all good games, Cult of the Lamb opens with your sacrifice. You are the last remaining lamb, and today is the day that you die. As soon as you approach the sacrificial altar, the 4 bishops of the Old Faith gather round to bear witness to your demise. Before you know it, the executioner approaches, raises his axe, and...
Hey, you.
Just kidding. You wake up in an odd realm filled with ethereal fog. In front of you stands a figure bound by chains. The one who waits, a literal wolf in sheep's clothing, is in need of your help. It strikes a deal with you, granting you life once more in exchange for starting a cult in its name. With no other choice but to accept, you don the red crown, beginning life anew. I'm Chepek, and this is Cult of the Lamb. Cult of the Lamb features 2 main gameplay types: roguelite-style crusades, where you'll need to pillage resources from the lands of the 4 bishops, and town management, where you'll have to cater to your cult and maybe sacrifice some of your devout animal followers to the eldritch gods. The first of these types are the crusades. Crusades offer a kind of roguelite progression system, where you'll begin by picking up a weapon and a curse in order to defeat your enemies and make your way through a myriad of different stages. If you die, you lose all your items and have to go back from the very start. There's 4 main weapon types that you can use to your advantage, and they all have different enhancements. The hammer feels weighty and does massive amounts of damage in one slow hit, while the dagger feels nimble but requires more strikes to down your foes. Meanwhile, cursors can be used to shoot projectiles or create ruptures in the earth. The combat is super snappy. The enemies are all very different in terms of attacks, looks, and behavior. The dodge roll is precise yet rewarding, and tarot cards are able to enhance your moves for the rest of the run, opening up many more possibilities when it comes to how you approach combat. The roguelite nature of these crusades means you're always going to be playing with new movesets and buffs, and you'll just have to adapt to your circumstances. I really like how combat feels in this game, so that's why I'm a bit disappointed it's always getting cut short. You see, as opposed to your Isaacs and your Gungeons, Cult of the Lamb's roguelite structure is very divided. There's 4 different areas in the game, with each area being protected by a bishop. The only thing is, the door to the bishop's temple is locked, and in order to face them, you'll need to defeat 3 of the bishop's strongest pawns. Sounds fun, right? I mean, battling your way through 4 different battles in a row is quite the challenge. Well, what if I told you the game instead forces you to take a little break after each boss, resetting your weapons and cutting the level lengths into quarters? Because that's exactly what I'm telling you. If the levels were longer, maybe this would be a more viable gameplay loop. The only thing is, the levels are around 4 stages each, and with 2 of those stages being resource collecting freebies, you can basically complete any given run in under 10 minutes. To me, this structure honestly feels like a bad way of solving a lack of balancing. By the time you complete the 4th chamber, you're pretty much stacked in terms of loot, so I think the game compensates for that by setting you back through airport security before you can start the next level. When the combat works, it works, but cutting it down to these small 10-minute adventures is just kind of odd. I really like the Crusades, but I just don't understand why it works like this. Nevertheless, when you finally complete 4 runs and make your way to the biome's resident bishop, the fight is a crazy spectacle. The bishops all have their own movements that incorporate elements from the entire biome, and it's fantastic. The massive scale of these enemies really puts their power into perspective. These are gods who have ruled over the world for thousands of years, and their century-long reign is about to be ended by a little lamb with a red crown. And the fact that you do this cute smile as you rip out their still-beating heart is great. Don't worry though, heretic hearts aren't all you'll be bringing home. Along your battle route, you'll run into resources galore, all of which can be harvested and used for building your base. You can visit resource spawns along your route, or you can just smack random parts of the environment. Just look out for any hazards, because dying means waving most of those new materials goodbye. After death, you'll wake up back at your cult, where you'll be able to play the other side to this game. The cult management is really well developed, which now that I say probably makes sense for a game called Cult of the Lamb. Cult members will work for you, they'll pray to shrines of you, heck, they'll even give their lives to you. They are your loyal subjects, and as long as you keep the 3 H's intact, they'll do your bidding. What are the 3 H's, you ask? Why, heresy, hunger, and health decline, of course. As long as you feed them, clean up after them, and perform demonic rituals to cement your power in their feeble minds, your followers will be happy to spread the good word of the Lamb. There are a multitude of different buildings that can be used and constructed by the cult. There's lumber mills where your cult can gather wood, mines where your cult can gather stone, and just wait till I tell you what your cult can do at farms. These buildings allow your cult to sustain itself and gather resources you otherwise would only find in crusades. The majority of buildings, however, are dedicated to strengthening your members' connection with the cult and supplying you with that sweet, sweet faith. After being collected, faith can be used at the town altar to trigger a divine inspiration, a moment of clarity where you can decide which buildings you next unlock, even allowing you to level up the cult and upgrade your altar and temple. The temple is where your cult will be able to uphold its beloved traditions. Every day you can host a sermon, allowing you to develop dedication in your cult and providing you with an increase of power for your crusades. You can unlock new weapons over here, boost your health, pretty much all that good stuff. The temple can also be used to unlock new abilities in your runs by taking power from a bishop's heart, or it can be used to forge new cloaks that offer different abilities. You get to shape what kind of cult you are by imposing doctrines upon your subjects. Does your cult honor sacrifice, or should you murder members in the shadows? Do you honor battle or forging bonds through marriage? It's up to you to decide what kind of cult you want to be, and that's what this game does amazingly. Depending on your choices, you're able to host different rituals that have different impacts, and the idea of player choice is something that Cult of the Lamb values above all else when it comes to cult management. Customization is really at the forefront of this game, and it's something I feel was executed perfectly, no pun intended. Alongside its town building and combat, Cult of the Lamb follows the player's trip through the beautifully twisted world it takes place in. Most characters are based on a real-life animal or plant, and all embody unique personalities based on their life experience. Unless they're a member of your cult, in which case they have the personality of a stale piece of bread. Halob is a sneaky spider who lives in the dark and eats other animals as prey, while Ratau is the old bear of the Red Crown who hosts cheery games of knucklebones in his cabin. Just an all-around helpful guy. Different characters offer fun dialogue or mini-games, while others sell you goods or send you on quests. The characters really bring this world to life and can have their paths impacted dramatically by the player. Also, this game is just cute. The hand-drawn art style adds this adorable little charm to the game and really subverts your expectations. Who knew that a game about brainwashing an isolated civilization in the woods and killing them off for your own personal gain could be so adorable? Seriously though, I really like the contrast here, and I think the art is just spot on. The textures have this cool scratchy feel to them, while the lighting is constantly shifting around and changing the colors in strange ways. I honestly can't get enough of how this game looks. The artists did an amazing job. Also, the animated trailers they made leading up to the game's release are phenomenal. The game also has this weird, almost spiritual soundtrack to it, but it fits really well. From chilling out on your farm to having cult members ascend, the music in Cult of the Lamb is spot on. It adds an extra layer of atmosphere in every moment and has this incredibly unique feel to it. This game honestly delivers on most things you'd look for in the average culting experience, but that isn't to say it's perfect. I really liked my time with this game, but there are just some issues with it that can't be overlooked. There is an incredible amount of bugs in this game. Now, of course, this is something that can fix over time, but some bugs make your game straight up unplayable and slightly spoil the experience. A list of some bugs I encountered in my 20 hours with the game go as follows. You can glitch out walls and just casually walk out of bounds. Buildings will just not do what they're supposed to. I had both a farm and a refinery that refused to work. Snails, which are required for completing one of the game's achievements, just won't spawn. Quests won't mark as complete after you finish them. Paths won't stay deleted. They'll come back from the dead even if they look horrible and you delete them for a reason. Quests will assign different objectives than what the NPC's talking about. Rituals can just never end. The game almost crashes every time a new day starts. Your cult can just disappear. You'll get notified when followers that don't exist start dying. Gifts only give you 1 coin. And some sick followers will never stop being sick. I mean, it's crazy that the game launched with such little polish. I usually find complaints about bugs nitpicky, but these glitches really add up and start to make the experience frustrating. It's bizarre that they published the game in this condition. I've seen reports online that some people are getting locked in their village, while others are having their game randomly freeze and crash. This game definitely needed more development time, because outside of this terrible optimization, it's pretty goddamn good, but the fact that it's been released in this state is honestly disappointing. But even despite the bugs, there's a few issues I have with this game. Notably, there's quite a lack of endgame content and replayability. Once you've completed the campaign, you're plopped back down your cult in order to do what exactly? You're able to finish the level up trees and upgrade some buildings, but beyond that there's pretty much nothing left to do. Gathering all faith rewards just replaces faith with coins, so you end up with around 10,000 coins you'll never spend. This issue persists even outside of the cult. After defeating all of the bishops, the game allows you to enter the stages for free play, but it just straight up doesn't let you play more than 3 levels in a row. So that leaves the question, what incentive is there to continue playing the game? The answer is simple, there isn't any. Now obviously replayability isn't required for a game to be enjoyed, but Cult of the Lamb is perfectly set up for it. Throw in a roguelite mode where you battle through all 4 biomes in a row, or offer new objectives for strengthening your cult, and that's already enough. The devs have all the puzzle pieces, they just need to put them together. While I think Cult of the Lamb is a really solid concept, it just falls short in some places. It's not quite the fast-paced roguelike cult building game I'd imagined, and I'm sure many people feel that way too. The gameplay is really good, but it's hindered by these weird choices that would be so easy to change. Cult of the Lamb is not the game I thought it was, but maybe it can be. It's clear Massive Monster have a roadmap in place for future content, and bug fixes should be coming out pretty soon after launch. So while it's not exactly there yet, Cult of the Lamb is almost awesome. And if there's enough time and dedication put into supporting this game in the future, I'm sure it can make it there. I'm looking forward to the future of this game, and I highly recommend you play it once all these problems are ironed out. I'm sure this game could one day become a cult classic. Speaking of cults, why don't you join mine by hitting that subscribe button? I post game reviews like this every time a lamb is sacrificed, so you aren't gonna want to miss it. Also, while you're down there, why not like the video and leave a comment? I read all of them, so please don't say anything mean. Anyways, with that said and done, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time, where I sacrifice every single last one of you. Bye!